Welcome everybody to the Wheels Museum. We're so happy to be here with you. Today we have a very special speaker, and one of the things that's very special about him is that he's doing this on the spur of the moment. So I really appreciate that not only is he a wonderful volunteer and a wonderful donor to the Wheels Museum, but when I asked him today, will you do this on the spur of the moment? Sure, why not? It'll be fun. So this is Richard Sunman, and he is a great volunteer. We met how long ago? A year or two ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
And he came in to see me and he said, I've got an extensive O-gauge train collection and I'm moving from one place to another. I don't have room for it. And of course I started to drool. So I said, well, would you like to give it to the Wheels Museum? He said, yes. So then I imposed upon him more and I said, would you care to build a showcase for those trains? And he said yes again. So he's a wonderful friend, and not only does he volunteer and run the trains, but he's been known to clean in here and clean bathrooms and all kinds of work, and always told me, Leba, I'll help you. So I'd like Richard Sunman to tell us a little bit about your train collection, your interest in the O-gauge trains, if you would.
Well, it began, I guess, as my family tells me, when I was 2 years old.
Okay.
And I even still have about 3 pieces in the display that came from that set. And it's just been a lifelong hobby. And there have been many times when I've had a layout, and there have been many, many years because of moving that it's sat in boxes.
So now people love it.
Now it's a 9-foot by 12-foot wall display. There's a smaller display on the another wall. How many pieces should I tell them?
Please.
About 450 pieces of rolling stock. There's 89 engines, I think is my remembering, and 89 engines, and the rest of it is rolling stock, and about 90% of that is passenger cars.
Oh, and tell them what I love this. If you come down to Wheels Museum and you look in those passenger cars, tell them what you did in those passenger cars.
MTH, which is Mike's Train House, is one of the manufacturers, was still one of the big manufacturers. I collected their superliners and their Amfleet trains, and actually the Amtrak's Southwest Chief that goes through Albuquerque, I have it duplicated, complete. The right number of engines, the right cars, the complete set. Actually, the complete set, when I duplicated it, Amtrak was actually running it. Now, it's much shorter because they have a loss of equipment.
But tell them who you put in there.
Mike's Train House made the figures to put in those passenger cars. And if you wanted to spend a fortune with the factory painted, that would have been great.
Okay.
But they also produced bags of 120 unpainted assorted figures. Men, women, children, standing, seating. And back in around 2015, I decided all of those passenger cars needed passengers. And they're scaled to fit in those cars. I kind of decided that, how am I going to do this? I looked at all the figures that were on my layout and factory painted, and figured how many actual colors there are. I ran up about 6 or 7. So I decided, okay, let's become a wardrobe person. And I took all these people, laid them out. There were 12 figures, 10 of each in a bag. And I decided what hair color, suit color, tie color, shoe color, dress color. And when I got done about 6 months later, I had 1,000 of them painted.
Can't believe this.
And they average about 1¼ inches tall. And yes, it was done under a lighted magnifying glass.
This devotion, love it.
Was really mass produced. I laid them out by figures, had a color chart for each one group, and it was mass produced. Some days I decided, let's do whatever is going to be blue. Maybe another day what's going to be red or flesh tone or darker skin tones.
That's a good idea.
One of the cars in the display does not have the body, so that you can see a sample of about 45 people in these cars. And yes, the die casting of this plastic was very detailed. Even on the men's suits, they had the ties, the shirts, the jackets, and I painted the ties and the shirts. How did I paint the ties? With toothpicks.
Oh,
It was the smallest
amazing.
thing I could come up with to
Amazing.
get that thin
Amazing.
little tie.
It's so wonderful. I love all that tiny detail and the fact that someone would devote himself to something like that. When you come down here, you can get a magnifying glass, you can look in those little cars and see those people.
And all the cars are on display,
Yes.
and you can see the people. And then, like I said, there is one car, a Superliner car, a double-deck car, that is the body off, and you can see the entire interior and all the passengers in their seats.
It's so precious. And then you come down and you run the O gauge, don't you?
Well,
Tell us about that.
yes, I'm very fortunate. When I donated my collection to the museum, usually when you donate something to a museum, you give it up.
Right.
You give it
I
up.
promise you wouldn't give it up. Yeah, right.
And so when we got finished, it's a win-win for the museum and for me.
Right.
Not everything fit on display. And so there are a number of, probably maybe about 100 pieces that are still upstairs. And so here's how it's turned out. I still get to see my trains every time I'm here. I get to share them with our visitors. And sometimes I get to tell them when I'm there about it. And the other thing is, I still get to run them.
Right.
In fact, one of my sets, the Amtrak Superliner set, is on the O gauge layout.
Yes.
It's been almost permanent since
I know, we love
went
it.
there,
We love it.
because everybody likes to see the Amtrak Superliner, and I get to run that every time. And John, who is in charge of the O gauge layout, has said that I can bring anything that's still upstairs down and run it. So as I said, I still get to see it, I get to share it, and I still get to run it. No museum lets you do that.
And also we are mentoring students, and so if young people come who are interested in having this kind of a career and running the trains, then Richard and John and other men who work on the train are able to mentor students as well. We're also building an S gauge train track around the O gauge.
It's been added to the outside.
And added, yes,
Yes.
yeah. And we just built a new G scale, so that's an exciting new exhibit.
That's running around the ceiling of the lobby.
That's right. I had a man come today, we have the Boy Scouts here today, and they're doing a new exhibit for us, and he said, I have a 16-foot in diameter train layout. He built it as a circle.
That's interesting.
Very, and he wants to put it here. Our problem is space. So we are trying to get the Babbitt and Welding Shop behind here to put in additional layouts, and it's a several $million project. We're looking for sponsors to do that now, and the state's helping us a little bit with that, and city, so we're trying to expand because we think this is a very wholesome and important activity for children like Richard of all ages. I repeat, children of all ages like Richard.
I'm still a child when it comes to trains.
That's what we talk about. We were talking about that this morning with a group of guys that said we're never going to grow up because it is educational, it's wholesome, it's important, it's historic. So,
Well, so
we
many
love it.
people have train layouts here in Albuquerque that no one knows that they have.
Right.
It's a hobby that's in your home and you love it,
Right.
but it's not often that you get to share it. And I guess that's where I am now with the museum, that it came out of my home and now I get to share it.
Yeah, and I remember you were a little bit afraid that you wouldn't, but it's all worked out so beautifully. So,
Yeah, it was
so
hard.
happy.
It was hard to give it up, and I will tell you this, and I can say it publicly. I had a hard time giving it up.
I remember. I remember.
And one day, I overheard John, who's in charge of the O gauge layout, telling another volunteer. He said, "Richard's finally giving it up."
Oh. But not really. Yeah,
Not really,
having to, but yeah. Many
it's-
men cry. We've had many men come in here and start crying when they give up an exhibit that their father had or grandfather. But I always say you can always come here and visit it and be with it and clean it and love it.
And this is where I got the win-win-win.
Yes, that's exactly right. I appreciate your talking to us about all this today too, and inviting other people to come and be part of what we're doing.
When I decided that when I knew that I had to give it up, the Wheels Museum was the only place that it could go. And Leba has been fabulous about it.
Well, we're
And
happy.
Couldn't be in a better place.
So happy, so happy. We have other good news. A little bit along that line, we're starting to work with APS with curriculum, and they're going to use the O-Gauge train as part of the learning experience for children, to understand the technology, to understand the history, the culture, the art aspect of it. So it's really helping the community in a big way. We're really grateful for that. So thank you so much.
You're very, very welcome. Our surprise visit was great.
Yeah, perfectly. Exactly. One thing I usually don't mention is our gift shop. We have an adorable gift shop, and Richard is a symbol of that. He's wearing one of our T-shirts today.
Yes.
Free advertising. And I also brought, just for fun, here's a black T-shirt that we sell. This is a nice long sleeve one, and we sell beautiful ones with trains on them and many other kinds of T-shirts, and we sell them for $15 a piece. So we're very reasonable. And we would love to have you come in and get some T-shirts for your family and friends. It's a good advertising for us, and that's why we sell at such a reasonable price. Also, in our gift shop, we sell a very important book called Overhaul. About 5 years ago, I was working at the Rail Yard Market, which is going to start again May 5th, and we'll be there. And a couple came over to me, and I asked, as I always do, what do you do? And they told me they write history books. And I said, could you write a history book about the rail yards? They said, yes, we will. And they did it. And this was published by UNM Press, and we've had quite a few events featuring the book. We call this the Bible of the Rail Yard. So if you're interested, we sell this for $20 in our gift shop. If you're interested in learning about the great detail of the men who worked here, the technology, the dates, all the things that relate to this rail yard, I hope you'll come in and get this book. We do have cookbooks that we sell and other books and many other items that are donated to us that we sell in the gift shop. So if you're interested in buying a model car, a model train, or model airplane, or many of the unusual things that we have, one of my favorite things we have is safety plates. Those were given to men if they were without an accident and worked on the railroad for a year. Some people donate things like that to us, and we're able to sell those. So I hope you'll come in and see us. We have a lot of great things happening. One thing that's happening that's almost sold out is May 25th. We're having a presentation by the Chinese American people about their contribution to the railroad, and Fred Friedman is going to host that presentation and talk that day. He's the former head of transit of the state. We're also going to have refreshments that day and Chinese folk dancing. So if you want to come to that, please give me a call soon, 505-243-6269. May 18th, we're going to have a very interesting presentation about the atomic bomb that landed in Albuquerque by Roland Pentilla. That's at 2 o'clock. So if you're interested in that, we hope you come. Next Saturday from 12 to 2, we have a balloon pilot speaking about what it is to be a balloon pilot. And that's something new to me. I'm very eager to hear that. And I will also give a short presentation about the rail yards and about this museum here. So those are just some of the things coming up. On June 1st, we have Doug Figgs coming to play Western music at 1 o'clock. He's been here before with Badger, his Dachshund dog. That's a lot of fun.
That's fun.
A lot of fun. June 15th, Ronn Perea will talk about historic Route 66. On July 20th, Steve Cormier is coming. He's a movie star. He was in Breaking Bad. He played Wyatt Earp. He's going to perform country music. That's $10 a person. On August 10th, we have a very interesting presentation by Phil and Roseanne Archuleta talking about the New Mexico markers. And they've done written books about that. And so when you're out traveling, you see the markers, they're going to describe those to you. On August 18th, we have Joel Alden White, also a famous country western singer. He's performing at 2 o'clock, and that's $10. So we hope to see you all at these events. I hope you'll call us 243-6269, make a reservation. We're looking for volunteers. We're looking to keep our museum open more hours. We will be at the Rail Yard Market starting May 5th on Sundays, so we'll be open here 9 to 2 starting May 5th. So please come and see us. Call us with any questions or ideas that you have. Thank you very, very much.